and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this live stream of the Elite Series 2nd Division here on Rift Entertainment's channel. We're back for Game 3, and of course, I am still along Fresh Tana. Welcome back, Fresh Tana.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm still here with you, and we had two banger games already. We had a little storm from AURORA against Reapers, and then of course a wonderful victory by Riftsloss versus Pertinax, and now the upcoming series will be Dynasty against AURORA. So definitely a banger matchup as well, where we maybe can see that Dynasty can still get back to the top, at least together with AURORA in this match number 3. And after that, of course, at Worlds versus Once Upon a team who both sit right now at the last place of this group. But now let's focus a little bit on Dynasty against AURORA. And yeah, will be definitely quite a nice matchup, especially because we saw that Dynasty had quite a good performance and then got defeated by AURORA, so they need to bounce back a little bit from this defeat. And then, of course, AURORA, who had a little bit of a tougher league so far, I would say.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I'll have to see how they do. I think Dynasties are going into this matchup as the favorite, so to say, while AURORA is more of a challenger. But who knows? I mean, AURORA is a team that's that joined during the qualifiers, right? So it's a team that can still surprise a lot, I would say. It's not one of those already kind of established teams here in the Elite Series League of Legends tour. So yeah, we'll be up for a surprise, see how they handle Dynasty, and we're already in the Jam Select.
Yeah, and now we will see what they will bring to the table of teams. Like, do we see the classic bands? Do we see some more of those target bands? And with Karma, I would say that's a classic. Just really good at the moment in the meta. Y definitely also one of the top 3 junglers with Maokai, with Zac, with Wukong, for example. So definitely right now some more meta bans, and I would really think that we will see some more, because if those teams start to do those meta bans, then they will probably go for some more, of course. And with Caitlyn and Cassandra out, that's definitely some meta bans.
Yes, I mean the usual. As you've mentioned, some of the champions that we've seen more or less offered, especially Karma. I'm still in awe that actually Karma is picked so much. It's a champion I really like to see. Such a fun champion to play and see. Brings a lot of options to the table. Now we have an Ashe ban against AURORA.
Yeah, strong support champ. And there's the Maokai, because otherwise I think if they wouldn't have banned out Maokai, then Dynasty would have definitely picked them up. And now we have the Varus from Dark Unique, who had some incredible performances so far in this tournament. I remember the Sari, for example, which was just gorgeous to see. And now he gets his Varus, which is a good blind pick, just fits in most team comps. You can play him poke, long range, you can just play him like crits with on hit, just always fitting into most teams. And now there's like a little bit more AP damage on AURORA with Elise and with Heimerdinger, actually.
Yes, I think 2 champions we might not have seen in their hands yet. Hammer we've seen a few times. Elise, I don't think so often, and I'm rather hyped for that because I really like seeing Elise played in the jungle. If played well, can be a champion that can have so much impact in the early game, and can allow for a very smooth transition for the rest of the team. So let's see how Synbias does on that champion. On the other hand, Dynasty pick Zilean, who we've seen quite a few times already this split.
Yeah, it's a strong one. and kind of works well against Heimerdinger because normally you don't want to play a melee champion against Heimerdinger support, and with Zillion you can outrange those turrets because you can just drop the bomb in front of the turret where it can't hit you, and then the bomb explodes and maybe kills the turrets. I don't know how well the damage will add up against those turrets, but at least you can always outrange them. And with Wukong, that's one of the stronger junglers right now. Definitely a great pickup together with Zillion because you can just speed him up while he is in stealth, and then he has a quite bigger and more surprising engage range. So I really like that. And there's the Jhin pickup with the Heimerdinger, definitely lots of range and a good combo, because if the Heimerdinger turrets hit someone, you can always root them with the Jhin W. So there should be a lot of CC in the bot lane as well, and right now they have like 3 stuns already in the kit. So definitely Dynasty needs to be a little bit careful.
A lot of CC, and also with that Heimerdinger bot lane, we already have a bot lane that's going to be very annoying to thread through. I mean, you have the towers, which already demark some zones you should not really get inside of, but you also have the traps of the Jhin that can just make it an absolute minefield. So they'll have to be careful where they step on sides of Dynasty. And yeah, we're gonna finish off that banning phase with a few mid lane bans: Akali, Syndra, and Yone getting banned here. And Yone especially, a champion we've seen quite a few times.
Yeah, and just all of them almost like just target bans, just another top lane ban against the top lane of Aurora, who plays a lot of Olaf, a lot of Cassandra, so just getting him to a champion who is a little bit weaker for him is always an option. And of course, Frankie's 2 most played mid laners get banned out as well, so the Dynasty mid laner needs to draw a rabbit out of his set. And there's a Tristana, so that's probably a Tristana plant pick mid lane. Okay, it isn't.
Or a bug, yeah. Seems like we have another issue here. We're gonna remake that lobby. I know it would be really fun if it was Tristana blind pick on the mid lane. Not sure I would recommend, but
it's kind of like the Tryndamere who got picked in the first game where we remake the lobby. Tristana and the Tryndamere, of course, are just not blind pickable that easy, because normally you just pick them against a control mage who can't really defend themselves, and then you can just win the lane because you are stronger in the 1v1. But if you just blind pick it, then it's really risky. Maybe you face a bad matchup, for example. So would have surprised me at least if they really went for that. But yeah, just a little lobby back, and they will remake the lobby, and then we will just see the same picks and the same buns. And then of course the second pick phase will start as normal, as usual. And I don't know what I would recommend, but I think it's definitely a way to just blind pick a safe mid laner, for example, and to give top lane the counter pick, or even blind pick a safe top lane and then give mid lane the counter pick. So both goes fine. And just when I compare the top laners and the mid laners, I definitely would say that I would give the Aurora top laner the last pick. So just getting a good split push matchup definitely works well for him, and he is definitely one of the stronger players from Aurora, so giving him like a good favorable matchup could definitely make the cut. And there are plenty of those control mages which you can always just blind pick, for example Orianna or the Rise or whatever. Just getting someone who's fine in all stages of the game, who can't really get counterpicked, and then you always get a winning sideline match, a sideline or the top lane. So that should be a way for Aurora.
Yes, most definitely. But we'll have to see. I got a message from the production that it was due to a disconnect, so we might have to wait a little bit longer for that player to resolve the problem. We do not want anyone to go into a game with lags, because for such a match it would be a real problem. There's still a lot on the line here. Everything can be shammed. The whole standings could be turned upside down, so we still want to be able to give it our all. I think in any case we always want to give it our all and not be hindered by internet lags. But I also got that we should be heading into it soon. Or soon TM, very well known trademark of soon TM.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, the standings are really quite important, because Aurora, if they lose today, then playoffs could be in danger for them, just because at the moment they just have one win, so they really need to get those wins in if they want to get placed into the top 4. Of course, there's still the whole second round of this round robin, so they still have plenty of more matches to go, but just getting few wins here and there definitely would help to get placed into top 4. And for Dynasty, especially now that Aroma won, the Drift Slots won, to keep up the momentum, they really need to bounce back from yesterday, from last Friday, where they lost against Aroma. So just getting a win today would place them onto the same rank again, and then maybe give them one time the chance to get over them.
Yes, so now is definitely not the time to lose the ball. Every team needs to stay focused and into it for maximum, because we are hitting more or less that mid point of the split. So it's a very important moment to try to cement your spot in the higher ones in order to get a pass into the playoffs. And yes, we are redoing the same lobby as before. This should be going pretty quick. Everybody should remember their picks and their bans. And if they didn't, I think with our good friends over at Once Upon a Team and Dynasty, plus our own production and the team admins, we should be able to reconstruct that champ select without any issues.
Definitely, yeah, that's true. And with that, we are almost through the first half of the champ select. I kind of like the parts of Dynasty a little bit more, but just because Heimerdinger at least, we need to see what the whole composition will looks like. Just because, like for example, Heimerdinger that early, he really wants to fight against teams who want to engage him, against many melee laners, just because he can just place the turrets and you can just hold a position. And with picking him that early, Dynasty can play around it. So Aurora really needs to show us why they did that in the draft. And now with the last ban coming in, I really would like to see a blind pick mid lane, just to give the top laner the last pick, but we need to see if that's really true. And it's the Tristana, so they really
actually
go for
the
it.
Tristana. All right,
Yeah.
it wasn't actually just a it's not working, we need to pick something. Okay, actually the Tristana pick.
And do you know something? I think that he's just that confident to say Frankie plays a lot of control mages. He doesn't really have an answer to Tristana, so he has not the crazy set or whatever, the counter pick in his pocket to really outplay an ADC in the mid lane. So he knows he will probably get an Orianna or something else, maybe an Azir or whatever, and then he has the winning matchup anyway. So it's not a really huge risk to blind pick Tristana now that Akali and Suntra are out of the table. So I quite really like it, because normally I would think it's more like a counter pick most of the times. But with the champion pool of Frankie, it's just not a counter pick. It's just counters the whole champion pool. So I really like that pickup. And now we need to see what the top lane answer will be against Gangplank, because normally Gangplank is not that strong in the early game, and especially with Elise. And yeah, that's really what I wanted to see, like the Renekton just too really strong early game champions who can punish and Gangplank, especially because Renekton Elise, if you look at the history of League of Legends, Renekton Elise is just such a strong dive 2v1 couple, because Elise can always dive and then change the aggro, and they have 2 stuns. So Renekton point to click stun into the cocoon, which isn't stun. They have both really lots of bursts, so, and Gangplank isn't that strong in the early game, so that could be a really strong pickup there for Aurora. And SquarePants really needs to play a strong lane, because otherwise that could be a rough one for the early for the mid top laner of Dynasty.
Yes, I mean, we should be seeing a lot of action in that early game, I think, especially on the top side of the map. I think that's what Aurora should do. They should push, get that early lead in order to actually give that over to their carries on the mid and bot lane. I think they have a very clear plan here. On the other side, we have Dynasty, which can also wager on that. And Dynasty especially have a load of team fight potential, so I think we'll be seeing a lot of action just because of that too. I mean, we have Wukong with a Cyclone, which can do beautiful engage. You can follow up with like a Shockwave, and then of course a Gangplank, which can also just throw in his ulti for a beautiful wombo combo. So I hope we see that today in a few minutes, because we are, ladies and gentlemen, in a game now for the third game of today. Dynasty versus Aurora.
Yeah, and what a matchup it is. For Dynasty, it's always about building their own dynasty. I like this joke. And of course, for Aurora, getting back to the pack of the group, to the mid pack. So for both of those teams, it's important to win this one. And there's the face check maybe from Jin.
Yes, maybe we get a caught here. Lan already very low with the bomb, which is not enough, but we do get him very low. He will have to force, I mean, we force him to back there.
And with just one more member, like if Dark Unique would have stand in this brush, he just would have been dead. I mean, just it's a Jin. He is unmobile. He isn't really like a face checking champion. It was really risky for him to just walk into it and just surviving it. I mean, to not flash there was really, really ballsy, and in the end it worked out. But still, what a play from both sides. And now we see like the both junglers starting top lane or top side, you could say, and that could mean that Elise isn't looking for an early gank onto Gangplank, or she will go for free cams into the top lane gank. We need to see it.
See, you know, we already have a lot of aggression on that bot lane as well as the mid lane. I mean, of course, it's Tristana, which can already put some pressure on Orianna. Just jump on him.
And Orianna is really maybe one of the only mages who can even just win those level 1, level 2 trades, because Orianna has stronger auto attacks. So normally you say that a mage loses against Tristana because Tristana's an ADC. She has better and stronger auto attacks, but in this case, because of Orianna's passive, she can just trade evenly with the Tristana, and with that, she does not get out traded. So we saw a really close trade there, but still really well played by Haku to know that he can go for that.
Yes, now just poking around. Nobody yet finding the purchase, but we have a rotation from that mid laner Haku towards the top lane, as Zymbius is also going for the tower dive. Meanwhile, on the bottom we also have some action, but here's the top lane. Maybe the first blood. Nice first blood going to Haku on his Tristana, but Skellen is just there to pick up maybe the counter kill. Flash over the wall is gonna do it. And here we can see the strength of Elise in this early game. Level 3 already, a tower dive that's successful. Man.
It's so classic. I mean, name a more classic free champions situation on the top lane than Renekton, Elise, and Gangplank. It's it's so classic. I mean, we saw it maybe every single season since those champions got released, and it's really something that you know will happen, and just you can't really outplay it because you know they will do that, and you know you will die, and that's why Scallon even started bot lane and went for the top lane just because he wanted to cover that, but in the end he was just not fast enough. And then, of course, Haxu was there. I think without Tristana, Gangplank could have even maybe traded 1-for-1. So they needed the burst of Tristana. But with this roam, they could go for it. And now Tristana, of course, having one kill in the mid lane. She went for the Carl, so more scaling for her. Of course, with this roam, she lost 2 whole waves, but 1 kill. So it's most likely that she has more gold, of course. But Frankie did the best out of it, and they even got the flash from Tristana. So with a flashless Tristana and level 6 on Wukong and on Orianna, they could even try to go for a kill because both can stop the jump. And if they stop the jump, then they can just burst her down and kill her. So that could be an opportunity for Dynasty to bounce back.
Yes, indeed, they do have double the opportunities to do that. Maybe Hax will be a bit too comfortable in his position, so still has to be very careful. But of course, if Frankie does not have any mana, it's not gonna go that far. And Symbia's still going on with the aggression here in the top side jungle, ready for another tower dive. However, this time around, Skell is just around the corner, so they need to be careful. Haxu is gonna join in as he was able to push Frankie back. There we go. Octomalus is already very low, but we have instantly a TP coming in from Frankie, dissuading Aurora from further pushing the situation here.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember, but I already talked about the matchup because normally you stun with Renekton to have the safe stun on Elise, but in this case they started with the Cocoon and the Cocoon didn't land, so they didn't have a CC chain to tower dive him, and with that the tower dive didn't work.
Go. This meanwhile on the bot lane, another situation, Snilla is able to flash away, very low health. Omerai is trying to go for it with a flash of his own. They do try to get that kill, but need to be careful because Dark Unique can poke them quite a bit if they're not too careful. They're getting low themselves.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's a dangerous game for them to just play that that aggressive. They both flashed forward to maybe get a kill, and now they didn't get a kill, and both have no flash left. And with flashless carries, or with a flashless support and with a flashless carry, who are both unmobile, it could be a really dangerous play for them because Wukong ult, and then maybe with a gang playing, maybe with just the speed up from Son Zillion, they can just chase them down and maybe even kill them.
Ooh, nice shockwave here onto Haxu, but he's able to jump away. The kill will barely not go to Frankie because Haxu is able to push him back just in the last moment. But yeah, what you were saying about that bot lane, yeah, indeed, because it's all a matter of milliseconds. If they get hit by one thing, they will most probably get everything in their face. Because if they're just immobile, like stunned or from any form of CC, for a few seconds, Dynasty can pretty quickly change stuff. I mean, Dark Unique should hit level 6 very soon. He can add a root onto it. Snilla himself can also add stun onto it. And of course, the Skell on his Wukong Cyclone is out in a matter of milliseconds. And once that hits you, you're in for a party, my boy.
Yeah, and like one little misplay I saw was that Squarepants just used his ultimate on the top wave to push it out or to break the freeze which Renekton created, but then he hadn't the ultimate, for example, for mid lane, because Frankie could have went for the kill with the Gangplank ultimate, of course. So using it for yourself, then for your team, kinda denied you one more kill, but helped him on the top lane.
Oh yeah, we have the situation of bot lane, the root. Perma, you see, he gets hit by one thing, and he's not gonna move for all of eternity. That's the fate of a flashless Heimerdinger, unfortunately, on this bot lane, as Galen also swooped in to get himself a small assist.
And what an easy CC chain, because you can just slow him down. After that, you hit your double bomb, they connect, and after that, Varus hits his ultimate. So you have just almost 3 stuns if you count the slow as a stun, and that's enough time for Skellen to reach him, to burst him down. And now with Heimerdinger Death, you can definitely just go for this dragon, and with that, you have your first objective of the game.
Yes, and here we have it. We can say that, ooh, almost got a kill here on the mid lane. Symbios is just around the corner to maybe finish off Frankie under the turret. Yeah, I was going to say, Dynasty now taking back at the lead, still behind in gold, but as you said, Drake is also worth its meat.
True.
Charge is coming through.
But they don't get anything out of it. I'm really surprised that we didn't saw any other top lane plays. I mean, you have Renekton in these, it worked one time, it didn't work the second time, and they never tried it again, and now even Gangplank almost winning it.
Oh, here we have the thought on to Frankie, who does get saved by beautiful ultimate from Snilla, who came just in time. Saved their mid lane now. Now we have to be careful on the side of Aurora. We have the Cyclone hitting Mirai. Ooh, we do get on the other side. Skull is just going to flash to finish off the Wukong alongside his bot lane. To finish off the Heimerdinger with his bot lane. That's a second kill for Dark Unique.
Yeah. Well played. Just feeding his ADC. He is really playing around one of his win conditions, of course. I mean, why should he ever gank up the top lane, for example? I mean, he was there as a counter gank, but all his resources, especially after he hit level 6, went down to the bot lane. So he ulted with level 6, he ulted with level 7. So definitely the whole thing being that he helps them, because especially if we look at those team comps, when this Varus just gets few kills, he can one-tap them all, because there's no real frontline. And with no real frontline, those arrows will definitely hit like a truck if he gets some kills. And that's dangerous.
Yeah. And he's already pretty well off. I mean, he's already finished his Yumus.
Yeah.
So he's already well into this game. Keeps up with the farm, so he's not behind. He's just in front in terms of gold because of those 2 kills he's gotten. And on the other hand, Skellen doesn't have much to do top lane. Ooh, we have the flash cocoon onto Frankie. Already drops very low, very fast. Ooh, we try to get him out of the Zillion range with a Buster Shot. Is not enough. He is able to almost kill Zymbios, who saves himself with his repel. But now we have Skellen just around the corner, so we need to be careful. Also to not kill our teammate with Zillion Bomb. And we goes for the kill under the turret. Nicely played from Skellen, who barely survives the explosive charge, but Haksu goes in for the second kill on Frankie. Is it going to be enough? No, there is a beautiful stun from 2 bombs from Snilla, and now Dynasty gets away from this situation with 2 kills. Well deserved.
Yeah, and there's even more action on every single lane, top lane, bot lane, some kill attempts. And that's the shutdown.
We get the shutdown with the curtain call here on Long, but himself very low, gets stunned from Snilla, who flashes for the kill. Is he gonna get it? No. Beautiful save by Mirai here. Ooh, whoa.
And that was the 3rd time on the bot lane that someone flashed forward for a kill, which didn't happen. So yeah, it's funny that they all just creed with those flashes for those kills, and it never really happens. It's funny,
Yeah.
but I really want to say something about Snilla, because he is such a great support. I mean, he knows where and when he needs to be, and just saving 2 times Frankie with the ultimate is quite remarkable.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the top line, a small skirmish that is turning in favor of Dynasty's top lane. Square Pants. Optimal is forced to do Fury of the Storms, but does die at the hands of Skellen, who is there just in time. But yeah, I want to say exactly the same thing about Snilla. His ultimate game up to now is on point, and look at him, he has 100%, oh no, not anymore. just before this situation on top lane, he had 100% kill participation along Skellen, but he is playing the Zillion really, really well indeed. And his bombs too. Do you see how often he stuns with them? Which
Yeah.
is not that easy of a task, really.
And again, just he roamed mid lane, he saved his mid laner, so those timings of those roams are just really insane. And I think one thing why you can do that is because Heimerdinger Jhin is just not a bot lane who can punish an ADC. There was a catch on Scanlan, so because like you don't have like this Nautilus, this Thresh who can just tower dive like an ADC. You don't have like this Amira who can 1v1 or the Tristana who can 1v1 an ADC. Jhin and Heimerdinger, I mean, they will just farm and maybe try to go for a kill. I mean, we saw it one time, but then it almost backfired when Snilla came to help. And so this lane is just easy to roam out.
Yes, and here we have a big situation on the bot lane as Gal goes in with the Cyclone on 2 people, is brought along on the other side of the wall and will be killed. Lon now with the curtain call can try to get some damage onto them. They all leave the range. Top lane Octomalus is back in there. We do get to kill Sniller again with the bombs onto Mirai. And now it's Aura's turn to start fleeing because they are starting to get low except for Synbios. And Snilla is not gonna let the Crocodile do. Our real-life Chronomancer does chase him so that his AD carry can get the kill. Wow.
It's so incredible how he plays the Zillion right now. And again, a double bump. And just always finding it, always knowing how to do that. And just think about it. They got first turret as Gangplank against Renekton Elise. I mean, that never happened before in esports, I would say. I mean, it's crazy.
I don't think Zenvius is gonna survive that. Yeah, no.
Maybe. Spider's fast.
Yeah, maybe with Mirai's help, and now we have Lon. Yeah, gets saved by his teammates, which they do get return kill on Snilla, and now Dark Unique has to be careful because Lon is right behind him, but he himself is gonna get chased by Skellen as well as Frankie. We do a lot of damage onto him. He's able to flee though. But yeah, I was going to say a little bit earlier, because Skellen played a lot around that bot lane, and actually his presence was not really needed on the top lane. SquarePants was a bit behind in farm, but managed to survive the lane, and with all of the rotation that Octomalus did now, recently, he was able to get back up in farm, because that's the advantage of Gangplank, right? You don't need to be in the fight in order to have an impact on it.
Yeah.
And now he's back up to task, and yeah, we have the bot, a lot of damage onto Mirai, and now, yeah, here we have that Karen Barrage helping out their teammates, grabbing him 2 assists even on that bot lane, as Dynasty now are starting to really pick up the pace.
Yeah, what a game by SquarePants. Just having the losing matchup, getting first blooded on the top lane, and still winning the lane, and now he...
Look at
crazy! I mean, with his first item now, the matchup turns on its head. Yeah, even will have more CS. He has the whole turret plating. So this pirate is on a mission to win Dynasty, the 4th game.
Yes, they're definitely well on the way, picking up a second Drake as well as the map does form to a Hex Tech Drake attuned map. And yeah, things are looking really good for Dynasty, which had a bit of a rougher time to find their footing into this game, but now they're all in and ready to keep on rolling with a very good performance all around, especially on Snilla and Skellen, which both of them are playing super good this game.
Yeah, but there's still hope for Aurora. If we just look at the Tristana, or if we just look at the Jhin, for example, both have a lot of farm, both have just really good stats right now. The first items are complete, and now the Spider might get caught.
Oh, yes, I think so. They are surrounded. That's another kill for Dark Unique. And yeah, of course, we saw in that last situation how much damage Lon can do once he gets into potent range of his enemies. And how threatening his curtain call actually is in team fights, right? So not all hope is lost, but Aurora just needs to find the right angle in order to go into a fight. And now Optimalus does a little trap onto SquarePants, gets a lot of damage down on him. Conqueror procs very early on, can maybe get the kill, but there is a TP coming in from Frankie, which dissuades Optimalus from going into further. Of course, the Orianna player with Cyclone could be dangerous here, as the rest of Dynasty also joins up to help.
Oh, that was a good 1v1. Just sitting in the brush, just setting up a trap, and there you can see that this matchup is still not lost for the Renekton, but now the mid lane turret is lost, and the curtain call gets some really crucial shots onto Snella, but of course he will survive, and he would have ulted himself if it would be close, but nothing.
Yes, but very nicely played to push back that bot lane of Dynasty in order to be sure to get the turret. See, they take those small trades which they know they can get back ahead in terms of gold where you can. I think Aurora is doing this really well right now.
Yeah, definitely, and like the gold lead isn't really that big. If as a player in game, you can't really see the gold lead, of course, and you would just see it's 11-6, and you could even think, yeah, we have 2 dragons, we are 11-6, so we are quite ahead a lot. But no, it's just 1k, so that could mean that maybe Dynasty gets overconfident in some of those team fights and then wake up when they maybe lose it because they are not that far ahead as they think they are. So that could be a dangerous one to be overconfident in some situations if you have that lead. But we need to see it, and now SquarePants get engaged.
Yeah, on the bot lane we have that engage indeed, and he does not live very long, as Haxu and Symbiose together can pack quite a punch. And that's another pick going to Aurora. As I said, they take the small, not too risky fights, and that works really well for them right now to get back into the game.
And Dynasty really needs to keep up a little bit of pace and maybe to start to get control over the river, because the third Drake is spawning in 1 minute 20. So it's really important for them to secure it, because after that they would have the soul point, and that's always a good thing, because that leads to some situations where the opponent or opposite team needs to fight you, even though they might not want to fight you. So just getting your third Drake is always a good thing, and for that they definitely need to get control with wards. They need to get control with those pushing waves on bot lane and mid lane, and with that just getting a better position than Aurora.
And Aurora already also setting up for it. They already took a kind of a powerful position here in the river in order to be able to push back their attempts to clear vision. And they do that really well, as Dynasty is not able to find real purchase there. But we have now the Herald being put down on mid lane. This can be a good distraction to at least clear the vision. Yes, and they already move towards that Drake. They are now changing up the game, taking the position themselves in the river. Yes, and now the table has turned.
Yeah, no, it's...
Ooh, Symbiose is getting caught here. A lot of damage. Very nice repel. Will he survive it? Maybe not. No, he does not, but couldn't call nonetheless to try to put some damage on Dynasty and try to get them out of commission. Is not enough, unfortunately, and we are able to put Haxu in a very difficult situation, forcing them to fall back and put them mid-life. And we can now 5v4 start the Drake in a more powerful position than the others. Of course, a few ultis having been burned on both sides. You have to be careful on sides of Dynasty. We do not have that many left.
And they
but we can zone them out. Yes, we get the third Drake.
They can't get into the pit, and of course they wouldn't have a jungler anyway, so they couldn't really steal it. So in the end, was a good pickup to kill Elise there. And what we really saw is that Aurora, if they are in place and can protect it, especially with Heimerdinger turrets, especially with those chin traps, and with like a cocoon out of vision and stuff, then they definitely have the upper hand in some of those fights. But because they gave up the position and tried to defend the Herald, they lost all this vision, all those turrets and stuff, and with that, they couldn't really face check into something, because that's what I wanted to say, that Varus, especially with this item build, just one-shots everybody. You have no real tank, you have no one who can really just face check that. I mean, even for example, this Renekton will just get ulted by Varus if you have no vision on him, and then probably just get bursted out. So if you lose the position in the river or in the mid lane or whatever, then it's really, really hard for Aurora to win any fight with that kind of team comp.
Indeed, and we just saw that they did a masterclass in how to play the thing here on sides of Dynasty, and we have to also laud that Herald moved really, really smart there, and I think they were just waiting on the right timing, and it worked out really well for them. Now we have Baron, which is up, and it seems like Dynasty do have their eyes onto it, as they've started to build up vision around it. They're all playing around that mid lane. They are looking to start it, though. They do start it, but AURORA is of course aware of that. They have an idea of what's transpiring there.
And Haxu could teleport at any moment from the bot lane.
Here comes also the curtain call to start getting a beat on what's going on. We have a turret that's done on bot lane, so Haxu is going to probably TP soon, but we have to be careful because the Baron is already almost over. Here we have the Karen barrage to zone a little bit more, and we can probably finish that Baron. I'm not sure AURORA should try to already immediately deny it. Be careful, Octomaldus already has to use Fury of the Sands. Is able to retreat, and Haxu goes for it along Symbiose, and they will try to get a pick, at least one. Here we have the Rune on Frankie, who already gets very low. A lot of damage falling on them. They are able to retreat on that turret.
And what a good Baron play there by Dynasty, just always holding the position, just not getting baited by the Renekton, for example, and in the end they just got it. And I think one crucial part of that was like the Gangplank ultimate onto Jhin. I mean, after he drops down the curtain call, he needs to stand in Gangplank ultimate, and then even Mirai got really, really low on his Heimerdinger. I don't know how, but maybe the Gangplank ultimate, or maybe a good like burst spell, a good arrow or something from Dark Unique, and with that they just didn't have a backline to really get into it, and they of course have no frontline to get into it. So it's really, really hard to play right now for Aurora to find an engage, because what is your engage? I mean, you have some stuns with Heimerdinger or with the Elise Cocoon, and you have a Crocodile who tries to run in, but that's it, and that's not really enough to really fight from behind.
Yes, this is a very rough situation for them, especially since Dynasty, all they really need to do is kind of like turtle up, and then AURORA has to try and find an engage, but as you said, how are they going to do that? They don't really have a strong one. They need to rely on the fact that they can catch someone kind of off guard, kind of away from the team, and Dynasty just doesn't leave any open doors to that. Except maybe for SquarePants, who might be pushing a lane alone, but he's not really the one you want to pick, right?
Yeah. No. Ooh, that was close.
Yeah, we baited a lot out here. Cannon barrage is off cooldown. We have tier 2 turret, and they play this really cleanly, Dynasty, right? I mean, they went towards the bot lane when the wave was there, cleared the turret, and then rotated back to the mid lane alongside SquarePants to take the tier 2 here. Now, for small resets, Drake is in about 30 seconds. They have soul points, so Dynasty is definitely in a stronger position for this.
Yeah, and now we see both teams just running to this dragon, and who probably gets the first like setup there can probably defend it, but Dynasty will always be able to face check with Wukong and stuff. So now they have the position, and Heimerdinger wasn't really in time to set up anything, not even vision. And now the
Skaln, who catches Haxu here, was able to flee closely enough.
Yeah.
Yep. Had to use both of them, had to use ultimate.
And Dragon is up.
Dragon is up, Dynasty is already onto it, and AURORA is kind of doing a sort of pincer thing. They go all in. Here we have Octomaldus going in the middle of it, but he gets stunned and just destroyed by the damage of Dynasty. Haxu also has to be very careful, is going to fall down to the hands of Frankie, and now it's already 5 versus 3 as the rest of AURORA, which were on the top side of the pit, are left alone and cannot do very much to deny it here. Symbios is going to try to get a pick, does not succeed, unfortunately, while the rest of Dynasty just finished in Dragon. That's solved for them. Now we have Lon in very dangerous position as Skaln is all in on them, and Mirai will also not do too long. That is probably an ace for Dynasty. Ooh, Symbios gets a nice shutdown still on Dark Unic, but is gonna end up dead at the hands of Square Pants, and that's an ace for Dynasty as they also get a Dragon Soul.
Yeah, and with that, there's no coming back probably for Aurora. And I mean, they have they have 17 to 8 kills, but it's still just 5k gold lead. I mean, 5k is almost nothing, but this game just looks over in every single case. I mean, I don't know if you saw the team fight, but there was no chance for Aurora to do anything. I mean, Renekton flashed it in and didn't even kill someone. Haxu couldn't do something, and then like the whole team comp, like one half of Aurora's team comp wants to play passively in the backline and even have some disengage with Heimerdinger, so they want to get engaged, and the other half wants to do the engage. So it's kind of crazy if we saw the team fight, because like two backline divers are sitting in the backline, and then their own backline just I don't know, stand it behind and did nothing. So it's crazy to see how less Aurora can really play those team fights, and there's not really a coming back. And now with the Soul, Dynasty really has everything to just chase them down, because they have the speed ups from Cillian. Then if they just hit one auto attack or one spell, they all get slowed down, and then they can just run them down. So that's terrible news for Aurora.
Yes, we just saw the potency of Dark Unix arrow, putting Mirai midlife in a single shot with the tip of the arrow. And yeah, Aurora definitely on the back foot here. Need to flee on the top lane. They know that they're onto them. And they're kind of trapped here. Try to get the pig onto Frankie. Gets a lot of damage with the shockwave. Can save himself. Now we have the carrying barrage. And the root which is going to land onto Haxu, which will not live for long. That damage is completely insane.
Yeah, I mean, they used all 5 members now to just kill Haxu. So they did not really do much in the last couple of seconds on the last minute. But at least now they do the Baron, and Aurora has no really way to stop that. Now they roam as 4 people bot lane just to maybe get a turret, but in the meantime the Baron is down, and look at the damage from Frankie.
See that? Oh my god. Poor Mirai just can't breathe. They just you want to do anything? Boom, here comes damage. Yeah, now Aurora is in even more of a precarious position, as Dynasty has the Baron, Dynasty has in general the upper hand, plus Aurora now has to deal with offset timers. Haxu now respawns Mirai in 20 seconds. If Dynasty gets another kill, they'll be even more unsynchronized. So yeah, they can't really do much. It's too dangerous.
And like they have no engage to stop this push, and with no engage you can't really do anything. Now you use this inhib, and you can just go base or can just roam to the mid lane maybe.
He has to root it. Boom!
Yeah.
Exploded. Yeah, that's the scariest part with that Varus. Oh, we might get a kill. Symbios almost gets here Snilla, but with his own ult he is able to save himself. That's the last stand of Aurora. Now Octomalus is forced to flee from Dynasty members, while Dark Unix is just gonna keep pushing. He tries to pull in the Raptors so he can heal more. It's not enough, and Dynasty should be able to finish up that game right now. Yeah, just use the TP to make the minion unkillable. First Nexus turret is falling, and we should be able to attack the second with the cannons.
Yeah.
This is a bit of an awkward position now.
Yeah, but they will win, and with that Dynasty will get the 4th win in the groups, and now even just one more bonus kill, and so Dynasty just moves together to the 2nd place with Aurora, with 4 and 1, and with incredible performance, especially on all sides. I mean, Snilla played a perfect Cillian game. Like the gang playing was gorgeous, just because like he won his lane, even though he played against Rennick and Elise and got Dolphin in minute 3 or something. So, I mean, that was crazy. Skellen just solid as usual. And then Frankie, even though he had to play a really hard matchup versus Tristana, he played really, really well. So, just on all sides, Dynasty really showed us how to play such a game. And yeah, it was incredible.
Yes, definitely, and it worked really well. Also, of course, I can't forget to mention Dark Unique, who did some beautiful arrows there at the end, and it was so dangerous. I want to mention it, but the game just went on and went on and went to the end game. But they had so much like pinpoint CC. He had so many opportunities to get free arrows in, and it really showed because the damage must be off the charts. But yeah, as you said, Dynasty now cementing their position in that top 4 for now. Maybe can take a look at the standings as they currently stand. Yes, of course, Dynasty now tied with AURORA Esports are able to stay in the second spot, while Reapers did fall off to the 4th place in their match earlier today against AURORA. That's too bad for them. But now we will be looking at the rest of this table, which has not been shaken up yet, but will definitely be shaken up yet. Which team of Adverse or Once Upon a Team will be able to take the win and pull themselves up to the 6th spot alongside AURORA? We will see that in the next match, which should be in not too long after a small break. So we'll see you in a few minutes for the last match of the day. See you soon.